This video tutorial shows you how to use SquareLine Studio and how to export UI files and integrate them into your display. For example, we are going to create a project for NORVI ESP32 HMI to control the digital output. NORVI HMI has 4 open collector transistor outputs, so we wired an LED with a resistor to NORVI HMI. Here we are going to make a UI to turn on the LED when the on button is pressed and turn it off when the off button is pressed. First, we need to download the required libraries and example program files. For that, go to the NORVI website and select NORVI HMI. Scroll down and select the LVGL example guide. Here we need to download the LVGL demo folder. Then go to the downloads and extract the file. Go to the LVGL demo folder, go to the libraries and copy all the library files. And paste them into the Arduino library folder in your PC. If there are exciting files, please replace them. Then again go to the LVGL demo folder and select NORVI SquareLine demo and copy the ESP display SquareLine demo folder. Then create a new folder, rename it and paste the copied folder. This demo folder includes the Arduino program that is required to run the GUI generated by the SquareLine Studios. Later in the guide, we will be linking the files generated by the SquareLine Studios with this Arduino program. Then open the SquareLine Studio and select Create Arduino with TFT ESPI to initiate the Arduino project. Now let's take a look here. You can set the name and path for this project. I rename this as HMI Project 1. The important thing is that we need to set the resolution according to the display we are using. Since NORVI HMI has a 5-inch display, set the resolution to 800 x 480. And ensure to select color depth of 16-bit. Lastly, pay attention to the LVGL version. You need to select the version number based on LVGL library on your Arduino library directory. For that, open the Arduino IDE, click on Tools and find Manage Libraries. Here, search for LVGL. Then we can see the version number of LVGL that I am using 8.3.6. Then click on Create. Over here you can see this white space, and this is how it will appear on your display. On the left side there are a bunch of widgets for us to play with. You can add any widgets you like. So let's try to create a project. Let's try to add a button. Click on the button in the widgets bar. So we can easily rename and change the color and other settings on the button on this settings bar. We can change the button size from here, or we can freely adjust its size on the interface also. Then we need to add a off button also. Let's add another button and make the changes. Let's add an event to the button. Click add event. Since this project controls a digital output, let's select the call function. Then click add, then rename the function. Here I rename it as button on. Do the same as off button also. Let's add labels to the button. Click on the label in the widgets bar. You can drag and drop the labels into the buttons. We can easily modify the content of the label and style adjustment from here. But we need to create custom fonts when adding label text font. You can see I already added one font style, Arial. Let me show you how to add the font style to the SquareLine Studio. You can download any font file from the internet. Then you can select the font file to be used in this project. Here I am adding Times New Roman font style. You can see the font I will use has been added to the asset. In assets, you can add images and font to be used in this project. Let me show you how to apply the font you want. Go to the font bar in the top right corner. Let's set the font name. Here I use times 40 because we need to create a fonts for each size. So it's easier to use if you write the size after the font name. But you can use any name you like. Then select font from assets. Let's set the font size to 40 and click create. You can see the new font style has been added to the created fonts. Then go to the inspector bar and set the text font you created. Here I selected times 40. Then you can add label content. Okay, let's add another label to the off button and make the changes same as before. This is the final look of our user interface. Let's save and export the file. Go to the file, project settings, browse project export route and go to the folder that we created earlier. Open the new folder and rename it. Here I rename it as SQ example1. Then click select folder. Same as before, browse the UI file export path and select the folder that we created earlier. Then go to the LVGL include path and type lvgl.h. After making the changes, proceed by selecting apply changes. Then select File Save to save the project file, and export UI files to export the project. Then go to the folder that project was saved. Here you can see our project was saved here. Then go to the ESP display SquareLine demo folder. Remove all the exciting files without ESP display SquareLine INO file and touch.h file. Then go to the project folder, copy all the files including the contents inside of the folders and paste them to the ESP display SquareLine demo folder. Then open UI underscore screen1.c and UI underscore font.c files. Then remove this part and save all the files. If your project contains images, do the same as for those files as well. Let's open the ESP display SquareLine demo INO file. This program is required to run the GUI generated by the SquareLine Studios. This part is for the RGB panel, and here we declare the pins of our NORVI HMI. This is the LCD declaration part of the program. And our touch settings are in here. This is the function that will be called when we press the button. We need to copy this part and paste it into the main code. It should be before the setup function. Then comment the full code of the UI event C. This code must need some other modifications because of the function we called when creating the SquareLine project. For that, we need output code. Go to the LVGL demo folder, select the HMI output folder and open the INO file. NORVI HMI has output driven by the PCA9538 IO expander. This program contains the code made to turn the ESP HMI outputs on and off. In this code, we define the I2C pins here and initiate the I2C communication in here. These lines configure the outputs. We need to copy the code to the appropriate locations of the main code. Let's do the modifications. The code to turn on and off the output has to be added to the void setup function. Then copy the right output part of the output code and paste it in the main code as shown in here. The button on should be high, so let's set the value to 1. Here, this part turns on all the 4 outputs and this part turns off the all outputs. Make sure to choose the correct board and settings. After that, upload the program. Here you can see our program has been successfully uploaded. Here you can see the results of our project.